Well, it's certainly a sunny day out there. I hope the weather's great where you are. And we'll continue on with number 61 as we head toward the 87 common mistakes we all make starting out. And hopefully these will be helpful for you. Mistake number 61, working with people that need your support instead of with those who deserve it. Such people steal your time and energy. Work only with those who keep their word. Talk to new people every week and have a plan they want to work to achieve definite goals. Trying to raise the dead is futile. And so if a person's not going to put together a dream board, if a person's not going to stay in touch with you and call you from time to time for help and advice, if they aren't going to invite you to do briefings and presentations and trainings, if they aren't going to get trained on these videos, if they just want to come over and whine, and if they happen to like you and they just want to come over and kind of socialize, enjoy your company, and hope that some of this pixie dust rubs off, forget it. Don't be rude, don't be mean, but work with those people that deserve your time, not simply those who want your time. Mistake number 62, not asking for any commitments from your downline. If you don't have firm agreements and commitments, not much will happen. When they make some kind of a suggestion or they say they'll do such and such, you might want to ask, is that a commitment? Because you want them to be successful, but nothing worthwhile is easy. And they don't have a boss in this business to prod them along and to keep them going. And if they aren't self-disciplined, if they aren't their own boss, if they aren't motivated, self-motivated, then you have to hold their feet to the fire. Mistake number 63, not meeting with your team on a regular basis. Meet at least once a month. Establish a fun environment. Sponsor social events. Work to create team spirit. Make sure when they come over they have fun. Maybe they're going to sample some of the products they've never sampled before. Maybe they're going to get a chance to try this or that, or you're going to introduce them to the new brochures or the new DVDs or videos, or you're going to talk about some of the DVDs or these videos that you've been going through in terms of the training. Number 64, not using incentives. They work best when it's possible for most people to win. And so have fun coming up with incentives. Think of things you can do to inspire them. Maybe I've mentioned earlier a story, one of the testimonials, or you could have how many people you talk with this week about Manatech, whether or not they seem to be interested. Just the first step is to start talking. How many people applied lesson 1? Or how many people can do lesson 2 in terms of familiarity with ExploreManatech.com? Where would you go to find this? Where would you go to find that? So use incentives. Mistake number 65, not working towards the magic number 300. Research indicates that people stick to the business if they're earning at least $300 a month. When that is achieved, they then focus on their downline doing the same thing. Now, if they have two legs with 3 people in each leg, that gives them $100. So it's not going to take much more than that to get them up to $300. Mistake number 66, going into management mode, and we've talked a little bit about that too. Shifting into management mode results in negative growth. Focus mostly on prospecting, presenting the business, and building leaders you don't need to manage. That's what you want, is leaders that take off. They're self-motivated. They ask questions, they know how this works, and nothing's going to discourage them. Mistake number 67, just looking at your own results. Don't judge the products or the compensation plan by how it works for you. Nothing works for 100% of people. Just what is enough to convince you? After all, how much success will make you make the commitment to jump in whole hog? It may work differently for others and be a real benefit for them. You might not get the results you're hoping for, but still go ahead and share it with others because they might get magnificent results. Base your belief on the general track record. Base your belief on the science. Base your belief on the research. Base your belief on what you see other people accomplishing and doing. And you can do it too. Not on specific individuals necessarily, or on your own personal situation. Your top leaders know more about success than you do. And so here it is that you have to trust them. Why would you trust them? You don't know them. Well, think about it. If they screw you over, if they give you bad advice, if they goof up, if they turn out to be selfish or prideful, are you going to want to work with them? Is anybody going to want to work with them? They're killing their future. The smartest thing they can do is only give you good advice and only help you. If they hinder you, they hinder their own growth because you're in their downline, and vice versa. You'll understand this as you begin to develop a team. You'll want to give them all the best advice you can possibly give them. Mistake number 68. Not treating it like a business. The hobby mentality is the idea where you come to a meeting when you feel like it. You don't really study on a daily basis. You try to see how it'll work out. You try the products from time to time, and sporadically, with no real serious interest. You take as little as possible, so it'll last maybe 2 months instead of 1 month. You share with others when they feel like it, when you feel like it, or when the subject happens to come up. There's no plan of action, there are no goals, and you give up when it becomes tough or if things aren't perfect. You know, Manatech has made mistakes. Manatech will make mistakes. Every company, every business makes mistakes. That's par for the course. Don't come into this expecting utopia. But we work through the mistakes. The real test of character is how you handle mistakes. You aren't a failure if you get knocked down. You're only a failure if you stay down. And everybody makes mistakes. So treat this thing like a business. Get serious about it. I mean, if you were your own employee, would you fire yourself? I mean, you look back over what you've done the last week or two. Is that worth hiring you to do? Are you really building your business? Are you taking it seriously? The business mentality. You invest in yourself. You invest in the business. You get coaching. You read newsletters. You put lots of effort into personal development. You attend all the meetings, the conventions, the conferences. You get on the conference calls. You go through prospecting materials. You buy the tools. You commit to doing the business no matter what. I don't think there's ever been, certainly a national director or above, who reached that level without at least going to Manifest. Manifest is a big international convention in Dallas in March. Do not miss it. If you have to sell half of what you own, go. Fortunately, it's not very expensive. When we went, we carpooled. We saved a lot of money. We got together and we rented a room at a hotel and or a motel, some little cheap place. I think that year there were 3 couples. So we put 4 on the bed. We got a king-size bed, 4 on the bed, 2 on the floor. We ate granola for breakfast and granola for lunch and granola for dinner. We just skimped. We did everything we could to get to the convention. Because it's one thing to get into Manytech, but when Manytech gets into you, that changes the whole thing. That's a night and day difference. So you have to go to ManaQuest if it's in Chicago or Oregon. And these you can write off. These are all business expenses. So it's like a paid vacation. You get it all. It's a tax deduction off your taxes. So go with your wife and have a great time and get to know the other Manitechers and begin to see the heart of the company. Mistake number 69, not using a contact manager. In other words, a day timer, a schedule book, a calendar, something that manages your appointments. You have to have a system to keep track of your appointments. You have to work like a pro to become one. I hate the expression fake it till you make it, but I love the expression faith it till you make it. You're going on faith. You've seen what has happened to us. You've seen what's happened to your uplines, to other associates in Manytech. That's why coming to the conventions is so important, because you're rubbing shoulders with all these people and learning their stories, and you're thinking to yourself, man, if they can do it, anybody can do it. But you have to start getting organized. You start acting like a leader with a huge group now, and then you'll get one. It's that self-fulfilling prophecy. Do it. Mistake number 70. Signing up everybody you can get your hands on. Look at, sign up high-quality, self-motivated people whom you like. What successes have you had, you might ask them. How are your work habits? Why would you want to do a thing like this? What qualities could you bring to our team? What's their energy level? What's their attitude? What's their outlook? What's their experience? The more requirements you make, the better the opportunity looks. This is a sorting business. The harder it is to get in, the more people want it. But if you go off begging, oh please, oh this is so good, you really got to take a look at this. No, just learn to ask little questions that stimulate curiosity. Give them a couple crumbs. It's like feeding the pigeons. They get a little closer, a little closer. Throw the whole loaf of bread at them, scare them to death, and they take off. So it is with people. Give them a little bit, get them curious, a little bit more, send them to explore Manytech, one video maybe at a time, don't overwhelm them, and just drip on them. Mistake number 71, not being on time. If you have said that you'll be there at 7 o'clock and you aren't there at 7 o'clock, you aren't trustworthy. They can't count on you, and they won't want to work with you. Or maybe it's a little thing. Maybe you're used to being late, and you think it never mattered. Well, it might not have mattered, but they noted it. They knew that you were late, that you kept them waiting. And when all is said and done, I'm told, on your deathbed, you look back and you wish, people wish they'd spent the time differently. They really begin to value their time. So make sure that you're always on time, or respectful enough to call ahead to apologize for arriving late and stealing their most valuable asset. So if you can't be on time, call ahead and let them know. They'll appreciate that. I do. If somebody's coming to me and they're late, I note that. That's the first hurdle. And a lot of other people do too. Mistake number 72, not working with a successful upline. Learn from a very successful upline by assuring them of your commitment. Now, they don't want to waste their time on you unless you're serious. But if you're serious, then let them know. You might say, hey, look, what do I have to do to deserve your time? And go from there. Mistake number 73, expecting results too fast. Anticipate 3 years of hard work and consistent work to achieve freedom. And if you can change that learning curve and learn to work smart, you might be able to cut it back. But most people take a minimum of 3 years to become a presidential. That's about $6,000 every 28 days. You have a better option? That kind of time, that type of time freedom and financial freedom. In the United States, a lot of people have money, but they don't have time. And even more people have a lot of time, but they don't have money. It's very unique that Manytech's able to give you both. And I'll tell you, you work 3 years really hard and really smart, you'll look back and say, wow, was that worth it? Was that worth it? Because there's nothing else as good out there. Mistake number 74, not being prepared for success. Do you have a sign-up form with you as you travel around? Do you have your tools with you? Do you have a plan and know exactly what you're going to do and what you're going to say? How carefully have you paid attention to the lessons 1 through 5? And how focused are you? And how quick are you with your responses? Have you made it second nature yet? If you aren't a leader yet, you are preparing daily to be one? Do you do presentations? Do you do trainings? You can't begin to be a leader until you've mastered both. You have to practice being comfortable in a leadership role. If you fear being on stage, your subconscious won't support you ever being a leader. Step up to the plate and get out of your box and get out of your comfort zone. These mistakes and my presentation and some of the other things on these videos is to help you do that. It's not a substitute. I'm not necessarily recommending that you send people to my presentation or my handouts so that you don't have to do it yourself. No, that's not the point. The point is to train you so you can do it yourself and be effective. And mistake number 75, taking advice from unsuccessful people. That's a huge mistake. Taking advice from people who have not been successful. Oh yeah, I tried that. That never works. I tried this. I tried. Why would you take advice from the failures? If you want to be successful, take advice from the people that are successful. There are hundreds and thousands of those guys. Why listen to unsuccessful business people when it comes to anything? Never listen to anybody who's not been where you want to be. Don't take advice from people not truly familiar with network marketing. If you listen to negatives and don't attend meetings, you'll run out of steam and motivation. If there's a big log fire burning in the fireplace and I take one of those logs aside and set it up against the edge of the fireplace, what happens to that log? It begins to go out. It loses heat, it loses energy, it loses enthusiasm and encouragement, and it goes out. You have to be in the fire to keep burning. And negatives are just cold water. So, on we'll go.